Welcome to PlayPianoTODAY.com. This piano lesson is titled Keyboard Syncopation. Here's a couple seconds from the song that we'll use in this lesson as we study the powerful technique of syncopation.
Now so much older, now I've been singing along, singing out every morning and every night. I can hear my mother singing soft and low. It's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright. Yes, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright.
In this lesson, we're going to focus on an essential keyboard skill called syncopation. Syncopation is a tool that you can pull out and use very effectively, especially when you're playing upbeat rhythmic music. Let me give you an example. Let's take a very simple musical passage with just the chords G, and I'll play the notes up here. Same notes, so it's still a G chord, and the chord C. We'll start real simply here, and then we're going to work this example up into syncopation. One of the simplest ways you can play these chords is to play exactly the same thing, same rhythm, same chords in both hands. So as you can see, I'm just playing a very simple quarter note rhythm in both hands with exactly the same chords, no syncopation at all going on. Let's go further. This time I'll play a bass line with my left hand while my right hand plays chords. But we're not yet into syncopation because you'll see my hands are still playing exactly the same rhythm or playing at the same time. Okay, now we're going to get into syncopation. Now the left hand is going to play that same bass line, but instead of playing at the same time as the right hand chords, you'll see the left hand is going to play kind of in the cracks or between the beats. And you'll see that this really energizes the music. Check it out. That's amazingly fun to play. It's fun to listen to. To syncopate music means to take the normal accent that the listener expects and learn to shift it between the beats. That's why it totally comes alive. Syncopation, however, is one of those tools that you really have to learn to use. It doesn't come really naturally to a lot of folks. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's something that you struggle with. It's a pretty common issue for keyboard players. Sometimes it seems as if you almost need an extra brain for each hand. But unless you're an alien, you just have one brain, and you gotta nail down the skill of syncopation. That's what we'll do in this lesson. Now let me play just a bit of video from the song we're using in this lesson. You'll see that this groovy old song is extremely syncopated. The hands are doing completely different things. Now, don't be intimidated by what you see. You can do this, and in this lesson, I'll show you a roadmap exactly how to get there.
When I was young, my mama would sing this song, chasing the dark troubles from my mind. And I can still hear her sing, soft and low. It's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright. Yes, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright. Now so much older, now I've been singing along.
So how do you get there? How do you get your hands to be able to play different rhythms at the same time? Well, you could study for years and years and learn how to write out all those inner beats, or you could simply learn to imitate what's happening, and then you will learn in a very natural fashion. To make that happen, I've isolated each phrase of this song, slowed it way down, and made it really obvious which exact notes to play at the exact time. Take a look at this. The best way to start is to start just with one hand. For instance, that left hand bass line. The video for this lesson is designed so that each phrase of the song in slow motion like this repeats over and over again until you move to the next phrase. That way you can really nail down the syncopation. Once you've gotten comfortable with your left hand in any particular phrase, you can start practicing with just your right hand, just playing those right hand punctuated chords. And of course, you know what I'm going to say next. Once you can play either hand separately, continue using the video from the lesson that repeats each phrase over and over again in slow motion. But this time, start using your hands together. And if you're like most people, some funny things might happen in the meantime. You'll probably make some funny faces as you're trying to get your hands together. But believe me, once you've isolated each hand in slow motion and you let those video phrases repeat, you'll be able to get your hands together because you can see exactly which rhythm to play in each hand at the exact time. Once you've done that and you've gotten comfortable playing syncopated rhythms in both hands, it's time to move on to the next video from the lesson. The next video is the entire song, again in slow motion, but this time the phrases don't repeat. They're all strung together from beginning to end so that you can put what you learned into practice as you play syncopated rhythms through an entire song. By spending concentrated time doing this in slow motion until you get your hands together, your brain frankly kind of gets rewired. You become kind of like a drummer. Drummers use both feet and both hands, and some of them sing at the same time, and just like you and me, they've got just one musical brain, but they've learned this essential skill of syncopation. You can do this too. You know, they say that learning a skill like this by simply imitating someone else is one of the best ways to learn. And once you've gotten this full lesson underneath your belt, you'll find that syncopated rhythms are no longer a hurdle that you can't get over. They're now a powerful musical tool that you can pull out at any time and really add energy to the music. All right, this has just been a quick overview on the full lesson studying the powerful technique of syncopation. Again, my name is David Sprunger. Thanks for listening today. Now you really know what to do. Go practice.
Don't you see?